right, welcome back to the podcast world. So, it's April 18th, 2025. We've had this weekend booked over in Baker City for a couple months now, a few months actually. And we're on our way over there. Kind of a funny thing that happened for the podcast audience out there. I wanted to basically document all of this because I'm always talking about how people are going to throw you obstacles, people are going to throw you hurdles, and you have to persevere through all of it. 5 days ago, I found out that our drummer who was scheduled to play for us for this weekend had his dates mixed up. Remember what I was telling you guys about scheduling conflicts? So, which is, I mean, it happens, but he didn't realize that he had this weekend booked with us, and I found out 5 days ago. So I contacted Jason. Yay, Jason! And Jason just happened to get home from his job just a couple days ago, and I got a hold of him right away, and I was like, hey, can you do this weekend with us? He was like, sure. That unto itself was kind of a miracle. So then I contacted our bass player and said, hey, looking forward to this weekend. And the bass player came back and said that he has hurt his back, and so he's like laid up. He physically can't do anything. So I decided that the three of us would go up here to Baker City and just do a three-piece and persevere through it. But Erin got a really good idea, and since her cousin lives in Baker City, she contacted her cousin and asked if she knew of any bass players. Well, she actually hooked us up with one, and sounds like he's a pretty pro level guy. And so we just went from no rhythm section 5 days ago to a rehearsed rhythm section. And so this is what I'm trying to tell you guys constantly, is that even your band members, they don't mean to get in your way. They don't. They're not trying to be obstacles. Maybe some of them are. I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different situation. There are sabotagers out there. But most people, things happen. Just, dates get confused, people get hurt, life. But you have to persevere, and you have to not disappoint people. There's no way I was going to get a hold of these places and tell them in 3 days notice, sorry, we're not making it, when we've been booked for 3 months. That's bad business. So just wanted to put this out there. I'm going to be filming the whole trip, and I'm going to get some good interview footage with some of the owners and some of the people that hired us. And anyways, that's kind of the exciting part of this. It's always an adventure, and this time it's really an adventure. We don't even know this guy. We're gonna go do 2 shows with this dude. We don't even know this guy, but you know what? He's a bass player, and we need one. So rock and roll. Yeah. I'm gonna put you all on my podcast, okay? What do you guys think of the show so far? We have officially test marketed Baker City. Thank you, guys. It was a cool weekend. I did find something else out. I got I got some information that in a way validated my last podcast. The last podcast that I did was on sales and sales tactics and a lot of what not to do. And on that podcast, I had mentioned that when you're going in cold to deal with a new club or a club owner, and you're going in there to sell yourself, and you're going in there to book your band, but they don't know who you are, I had mentioned that it's not, I don't think it's a good idea to go into those situations and be overly, just overly nice and overly, what I would call patronizing. Nobody's gonna buy anything from you. Nobody wants to work with anybody who is an ass kisser. And people can smell that stuff. They don't really like it. I was talking about how artists have a hard time being formidable at times because we're agreeable. We're open. People who are open tend to be somewhat agreeable at times. And artists are agreeable. We tend to be agreeable because we like people. A lot of us. And I wasn't trying to come off and say, be arrogant, be cocky. My whole message is that you want to be somewhat formidable because people want to work with people that they respect. And I was using the bud tenders when you go into like one of these weed dispensaries. Sometimes they're so overly nice, it just sickens you, It's just like so fake. And I know when you're dealing in sales and when you are trying to pitch to somebody, especially like you're walking into a place cold, you want to be kind, you want to be professional, but that doesn't mean be some kind of like lay down pushover. Look, the bottom line is like, if you got to build value for your band. And if you're some kind of a lay down pushover yes man, oh thank you, we just want a stage, like, do you really think you're going to get paid well? That they're going to look at you as like, oh yeah, sure, we'll give you a stage. We're not going to pay you very well because you're basically in here like acting desperate. There's no place in this industry, even on the micro level, to be an arrogant asshole either. You can't be a pretentious ass and start trying to inflate your worth arbitrarily. I had mentioned that, you don't want to be a pushover, but I'm not saying all of a sudden, like, get a hair up your ass and go start shaking down the gigs that you've already got and start shaking them down for more money. You don't want to alienate places who you've already been established with. If you have a guarantee $400 with a place, for example, I'm not saying, oh, all of a sudden get your negotiating skills on and start shaking down the place that's been good to you. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about when you're coming into like new opportunities, new gigs, new opportunities, people where they don't know you. You can ask for a little bit more than what you're used to. They don't know you. So you're establishing the value out of the gate. That's fine. If you want to ask for $600, $700, that's fine. But what you don't want to do is go to a place that's been good to you, and actually a place that maybe you've quasi built your career on the backs of. You don't all of a sudden
go to that place that pays you $400 consistently and then start shaking them down for $200-300 extra dollars. You don't do that, because first of all, they're going to be like, where's this coming from? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're putting a dollar amount on yourself and there's new opportunities, you can pretty much ask for whatever you want. If you want to ask for $1,000, ask for $1,000. You know, you're gonna have to probably negotiate that. They're probably gonna go, we can't do $1,000. We'll do 500. Then you go, okay, well, how can you do 7? You can do that all day long. That's with new people, new opportunities. I heard tonight that somebody that I actually know made that very mistake, let me put it that way. And I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Because if I hadn't put my podcast out a couple weeks ago on this issue, I would look like some kind of like, nitpicking hindsight know-it-all. And that's not where I'm coming from. The reason why I started doing this is because I want to document these things. I want to document these ideas because when I'm out in the real world experiencing this, and then I get to actually experience like somebody who I actually know who actually made that very mistake of trying to shake down an establishment that's been nothing but good to them, and they decided that they were going to arbitrarily inflate their worth because they have a busy schedule. All I can say is that if you want to try that game, go for it. Because I'm going to take those gigs that you so arrogantly think that you can just, treat like they're small gigs. Don't be like that. This is like, I want you guys to be smart business people. But man, when you've got something that's working and you have people that like really believe in you and are really good to you, it doesn't matter what they're paying you. Just continue to be good to them. It's actually going to pay off in the long run, And what are you going to do? You're going to squeeze them out of, you're going to go from 400. And then all of a sudden squeeze them out of $800 for a gig. Do it. You'll do it once. Me? I'm going to get 10 gigs that year at $400 a piece. So, if you guys want to be in it for the short game, by all means act parasitical and psychopathic and Machiavellian and narcissistic to the people that are good to you, and we'll see how many gigs you end up with at the end of the year. You're going to alienate all your small gigs, and you're going to, because you think that the big prize is big gigs, like, fine, go do big gigs. They're going to be few and far between, and I'm going to be out there picking up all your little gigs. And you know what? They're not going to need you when you decide that, the big gigs aren't really doing it either. I need my small gigs again. Guess what? They might be there for you, but probably not. Especially if you decide that you are going to act like you're fucking big time. Here's the thing. You can inflate your prices all you want when you have a hit song on the radio. If you're not writing hit songs and you don't have a hit song on the radio that's actually in the, in the category of the popular masses, I'm sorry. You don't get to just arbitrarily start inflating your worth without the freaking proof in the pudding. Now, you put out a hit song and everybody, anybody can turn the pop radio station on and your song is on there? Okay. You got something to negotiate with. That's leverage. Sure. But when I hear about people who decide that they're gonna shit where they eat and start making the smaller clubs feel like they're, basically small time. You're making things so much easier for me. So, something for you guys to think about. I know that some of my podcast episodes, I'm not trying to be too opinionated, but I started this podcast because I've got a lot to say. And I want to help people, and it's fine to see that you have worth. It's great. I would actually say, you guys should be figuring out ways to scale. And I've put out episodes on how to, on scaling your band, and that's great. You should be thinking, how can we get our band to go from a $400 level to a $1,000 level? That's fine. But you don't do it by shaking down the places that you're already established in. You just need to honor those commitments and realize that those places are the small places that believed in you when you're nobody. You'd be a fucking nobody without those places. So maybe not something to just squander and piss on. But you're not going to squeeze more money out of them, and you shouldn't be trying to. It's a dick move. Go fucking find new opportunities. You want your new baseline pay to be $1,000? That's fine. That's totally commendable. Especially if you are worth it, and if you know you're worth it, that's totally cool. I upsell myself if there's an outdoor event or something. I'll ask for $1,000. I'll ask for $1,500. It's specialized because, especially if we have to act like our own production company, we have to provide the stage and the sound. It's like, yeah, you're gonna pay me $1,500. But that's, again, those are for new opportunities and scale, and do it with people that scale with people that don't know you yet. That way, it's I'm sorry. They're used to paying you $400 or $500. They're not just gonna go, oh, somebody woke up today and they think they're worth $1,000. Okay. Yeah, dude. That's not gonna happen. They're gonna go, I guess you're not gonna play here anymore. So, anyways, sorry to go off on this rant, but I'm in a motel room in Baker, and it was a good weekend. It was serendipitous, and like I said, we didn't quit. We didn't give up.
We gotta keep on aiming up. Gotta keep aiming up.